Hey there, Gemini. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back, and I love you. I'm so happy to see you here. If this is your first time, though, click that subscribe down below, baby. It is free as always. Join the joy train. Hop on in here and let joy come into your world. And I'm not talking about me, this up in here. I'm talking about your joy, your lit self, your dreams, your delight, your satisfaction, your freedom, all that good, juicy, delicious, unctuous stuff, because that's what we're about. That's why these are timeless energy sessions brought here to you. And I'm just the microphone. Communicate your message from yourself, to reaffirm, to clarify, to come alongside, and to help you walk in that, okay? Because wherever two on earth agree, it is done. And that is what is cooking in the oven up here at Joy to the World. So click that like button, share because you care, get out to friends, family, whoever, so they can step on in and get into their happy self. Because when people are happy, backbiting, troubles, issues, arguments, whatever, all the struggles, it just falls to the wayside. And we're going to be a goldenness world. A wonderful, happy world where we're all in it together and everybody has the right to shine with no competition, no contention, none of those crazy energies going on around here, because we don't put up with that, okay? So, with that being said, this week, we got Michael bringing in, excuse me, the message called Massage the Ruby. Now, when they were telling me, I was like, what? What are you saying? You're going to get me in trouble. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared. But they're like, Joy, come on. I'm like, I know. And then Michael showed up. And here he is with his sword, fascinating you about who you are and why you're here. And that doesn't mean accomplishment. Why? No, this is the planet of pleasure. Not just because say that's, your power chakra down between your legs. It's actually talking about the truth of the formation of our star energy, because we are those 5 points, right? And our two separate legs, if you're blessed to have two, right? It comes on up together and joins in the first place it joins is right there. That's the coming together in the first divine union. It is like earth star or earth chakra, so it can be earth shaken. And you'd like patience, baby, slow hunting. You're stoking the fire. You're stirring up some flame. They're like, whoo, baby, let's roll through this and see what is going to happen. Now, alongside Michael, so we have this creative empowerment of knowing who you are, of what you're here for. Again, not the accomplishment, but the enjoyment, the pleasure, the experience of yourself, of discovering yourself. No more trying to fix yourself and alter yourself and all that. No, discovering who you are. It's a whole different attitude in which you come at it, and that awakens the divine order, the temple path. The goldenness energies, the lights, the fireflies, the delight, it begins to awaken and it begins to unearth like old lower energies that you thought that they were beneath you or they weren't for you or whatever else. It begins to stir up some stuff, some old zhuzh, some old magic, and you're like, well, Gemini, I don't know what that is, but it's something to unct you, to like, you see your senses. They're being stirred right here. And anything that starts getting stirred right here is stirred down there in this chakra right above the power. That is your sacral chakra or your sacred chakra, the place of your power and your treasury. And when the two come together, you're talking about a strong foundation, a strong union. So, since she is offering us something in her hands, I want to take a better look. So let's see, which deck are we talking with? Okay, we're going to talk with Tarot of the Spirit. Look, who's at the bottom? Oh, talk about holla. Look, we got the same thing coming on in. Slow and steady wins the race, okay? Now, this is Brother Earth, and that doesn't mean, wear you out kind of patience. No, this is developmental. It is building. Like if somebody's building your house or building a bridge, you want them to get their calculations correct, right? Because once all of that is in order, all the planning, all the preparation, all the beginnings is in order, then the proceeding is nothing. And that's what he is here telling us, to proceed forward with a state of ease, to move forward and know thyself. That's very much what he's saying here is know thyself. Nope, you won't come out. You won't come out. Okay, there you are. So you can't, oh, you did. All right, you like challenge me. Tell me I won't and I will. Okay, look at that. Nine of fire. This is that divine eye in the sky. This is like when Oz finally gets to leave. Here he was trapped in by other people's expectations. Everybody thinking he's the great hope and whatever else. And they're like, oh, great Oz. So he had to hide behind the curtains. He's like, they don't know I'm just a regular old human and who I am. Meanwhile, they thought he was magic and all these other things. And the thing is, in our humanity, there is magic. There's magic in our imagination, in our hopes. Like this, you know, when the sacral chakra begins to play up around the crown of your mind, we do begin to imagine, we begin to connect at our highest point, right? Where heaven and earth meet. So from the head to the tail, we are lining it up and divining, like a divining rod. This doesn't just land. It's not like coming up in front of the star like that. Imagine if the card were turned like this and it were piercing through it. This is transitioning all the way up and is the emanation going up around you. It's like light. The image has hit the back of your eye. It's registered and now it's moving out. So it's giving you your focus and your clarity and your forward moving decision making power. You're saying profession. Okay. Some of you, profession means the words coming out of your mouth. Some of you, profession means the words coming out of your mouth. Okay. So some of you will speak for a living, all right? Because that could be your profession. You are Gemini, right? All of us are Gemini. Okay. So that part of us, it's the part that speaks, the part that emanates, the part that is. It's the example, the dual nature, both personally, professionally, but it's also professing. So your profession. All right, but they're talking about a sticky situation over here. It's funny, deceit, thorns. It could be like a limiting way in which you see yourself, that you're kind of trapped and entrapped in that, which is great that Michael is coming along with the sword, because what he's doing here is he's taking that raw, pure power of yours and he begins to take away what isn't you. And not taking away your rubiness, right? It's taking away the excess. So that the light, its channel is mathematical and it's pure perfection. It comes to harness and bring the fire into you so that it can emanate forth and out into the world for all of us to enjoy. Talk about looking kind of familiar here. Look, that's a whole lot of love going on there, Gemini. So let's see what else we have going on. It's talking about up above it. It says, so jump on in. Jump on into the magic and the mystery is what I see going on here. Press the button. What button? What button you going to press? You going to press your power button? Is that your ruby? Your power chakra? You like cutting it on and you're like, yes, please give myself permission to be turned on. Now you can take that two ways. I'm just saying it one way. That's not for me to know, right? I am just the microphone. So with you there, friend, enjoy yourself. That's all I got to say. With this, there was a stack coming in. It's just chunked over here to the side because it insisted in coming along with the temple path, the divine order, with Michael, the owner of your fascination, right? With the patience and the victory. And it just meant slow your roll, ease up. Like you want time to taste, to savor, to digest, to enjoy, to partake. And along comes a 45. In perfect order, in perfect timing, you'll take hold of this. So it's a man holding a heart, but it's here on earth just as it is in heaven. There's something coming in a little bit more than what we know about, because it's really drawing my eye to the horizon beyond, to the opening, to the clearing, to the space. This is like a soft goldness. This is like the early awakening of the dawn. And dawn reminds me of young children, but you know, before children start to self-hate or self-correct or anything, it's like when they're out running, the sun shines on the hair and the hair's just everywhere and the clothes are everywhere, but they're beaming across their face. It's that soft champagne light of the, you know, dappled through the trees or the early mid-morning. There's something going on over here. So this is what you got to say. No, we're not going backwards. They're like, touch it and it'll come to life. What you trying to strike up the band? You got like lightning quaking on the mountains. You're causing them to erupt. You're like, I want more rubies. I want more power. And that's not a bad thing, because if you're seeing it, if it's part of your destiny here to bring in more, it's not more than who you are. It's not in excess. Those of you who feel the shaking in you feel it like strongly. It's not disorienting or discombobulating. It's actually very empowering, very mountainous, meaning a wide base, a broad measure to support the top. And that's taking us into the blue. Okay, I'm gonna go with it, because at the bottom, look, you're stirring some youth. You're going back to regain that youthful power. Like they're so full of it. The power of the promise is what you're talking about. So let's get into this power of the promise here, friends. We're going to hit this uncommon tarot. Ooh, this is another foundational card. The eyes have been showing up all over the place. So if you want to know, tap back into Taurus. There was some up in there. There was some in Aries. I mean, it has been going for a minute. But we're going to get some uncommon tarot. See the little butterfly spirit, that warrior spirit coming on in to tell us the truth. Okay, there's a chunk. So All right. I'll give you permission. I'm going to do one more shuffle to see if you want to clarify what that chunk was and hone it into one being. One being. So you made a way. You made a way between the waters is what you're talking about, and this is where we're going to start. Because that was the thing that wanted to speak first, but it was stuck in a chunk, in a block, in a brick, kind of like the raw ruby, or maybe that mountain, remember? So we don't need to despise that small beginning, because actually it's ginormous. It's a mountain, right? A whole big mountain. Just picture one up in your mind. We're talking about that bedrock, that whole broad scape leading up to a point, up to a focus, okay, which is very much reiterating this. Remember, it comes through and it gives you the focus or the foci. It can even be many points, but it's coming from one place, and that place is within your heart, within your divine rod of truth is what you're talking about. You're talking about that center point. This is like the opening of the labyrinth, the green of your belly, the power of your permission, the light of your universe. So let's look at what we got. Oh, we got the wanderer. Talk about a mountain. Look, you're there on the edge and you're wondering. Even your cat spirit's alongside you wondering. But what's unique, you have the depths of the ocean even with you at the mountain peak. Pure open channels. So you're open. You're showing very much Capricorn sea goat energy because they're about the expanse, because I talk about them being the top of the mountain peak all the way down to the depths of the ocean, like the Marianas Trench. So it's mystery is unfolding around you, but it's not like rifling or rocking or remember discombobulating you. You're very much going back to the ruby and that divine channel from top to bottom. All consistency and accountability and that divinity of wanting to be sure and certain about this magic, this delight, this champagne light. And that's what she is holding in her hands. That pure, perfect power, the divine order, the turner of the wheel, the turner of the wheel. And it says 1010. Whoever that is for, it says 1010. And with that, the crystal emanations begin to erupt forward, and we're opening up a whole new era of life, of the world, of seeing. This is opening the shock waves, which to me is making me think chakra of iridescence. You know, like I see iridescence and opalescence and effervescence and all these other things, but it's opening up for you. And it's opening up the measure, the crown. Like it's giving you a sealed and protected crown at the same time as an activated and open crown. Talk about some juxtaposing energy. I see how it could be stuck, like trickery, like I don't know how do I go in and out? How do I do it at the same time? And they're talking about your divine path, your divine order, the circle and the circuits and the cycle. It's all perfect. It's all honed and in tune. Just like every cut, every facet that Michael's making here is mathematically proportional and preconceived ahead of time in order to execute this firepower, this fire flower. There's the mountains again. Love, lift us up where we belong, and it's the purple down where the red, and it's the divine exchange. You're talking about the divine exchange. It looks like this. And that's what is all up around you here. But they're saying come down from your mountaintop. No need to be alone, be a divided soul. What is that? Poppy and peony. What are you saying there? One awakens you and one puts you to sleep. Know thyself. Know thyself, and there's a need to open up. There's a desiring yet resisting at the same time. And this is almost like a fool and a jester, playing yourself for a fool, like setting yourself up for failure. They're talking about your Leo, your lion, your Leo power. There's this like hidden lion down below. Hello? Hidden lion down below. Okay, so you're tempering out a lot of your energy, which is fine if you chocolate. Okay, it makes you glossy, silky, smooth. But it's almost like it can produce some lukewarmness. If you go fiddling with this and you try and make them one channel instead of letting them be two individual channels of like the oxygenated blood are arteries, and the deoxygenated blood are veins. They have a perfect circuit. They are connected. They're intimate that way. But if you begin to try and make them all one, you just get sort of halfway there and whatever, and all that's pelting and hitting your body, and there's no understanding, there's no system, there's no comprehension is what you're talking about. Okay. So you're saying don't convolute it, don't pollute it, don't commingle it that way. And for the first time, these are turning into party lanterns. And there'll be something to celebrate. There'll be something that remains. There'll be that genetic evidence of, I don't know what we say in here. Of what? Awakening the 9 of Rods. So that's very much establishment. Open establishment, open communication on the fabric of life. And it's a very sunny fabric of life. It's a very solar, which would make sense because of the Leo that's coming on in here. So it's like a happy, warm, fuzzy feeling. It's that healthy kind of pride. It's the thing that that satisfies, that like job well done, that type of thing. Or like you bake a cake and it turns out the way you want. You're like, whoo, yummy, tasty. Let me have some friends over to enjoy. You know, that's more of those party balloons as lanterns lighting up over here. And that's even more of your satisfaction and joining in and sharing the pleasure. You're like, double the pleasure, double the fun, double mint gum. Okay. Anything else need to come forward from the Antique Anatomy about what you're saying here? So the Wanderer, I think, is kind of put to rest after you talk about the Leo. No, there's more being spoken. There is more being spoken. So I was saying you're holding out on yourself, okay? There's something you're holding out on yourself. You've been spinning around in cycles, and it's like, it diminishes your appreciation. The differences of the days. It's almost like stuck in a rut, stuck in a cycle. Remember earlier we were talking about profession, that it just kind of keeps going. Some of you, you're doing like a one track type thing. Because remember we had the one, but we also had the multiplicitous, all right? The multifaceted self, like satisfying yourself. For many of you, especially Gemini, oh my word, you have many interests, many facets of who you are, not just the 2 pillars, right? And your symbol. You have many things that fascinate you. From the simple to the complex. You could be jeans and t-shirt, or you could be fine like wine, total, you know, tie and cummerbund, or a full-length gown, whatever it is, hair, makeup, all that stuff, cologne, you know, clean shaven, all the way down to, you know, rough and rugged and ready to go. That's what you're talking about here. That's how these are aligning. You're saying be aware of the one. Be aware of the one that sources it all. I love it. They're saying the one that likes to have fern. And I'm like, fern. What are you saying by fern? And they're like, Joy, we be country. We're saying fun. And I'm like, okay, well, do that on my channel, please. Widget Gemini, thank you. Are you just testing to see whether I'm a fool unto life and joyousness, or am I a fool unto death and like editing it out? So I guess you know now. I am of that pink gray, that childish energy, that childlike energy that frolics upon the hills with the glistening in the hair and the whatever, okay? So, enough of that. And that leads to some erection protection. You got a clear, determined idea. And this is not bringing about harm. This is like clear cutting. It's profound. It is making a way. It's not like a thin little blade moving on through. This is a wedge cutting out that room, but this is a wedge also. You're saying making room and leaving space. Making room and leaving space. Forward is the progress. Making room and leaving space. Because just like this, the first facet, the person's aware of the full big picture. So you have a pretty good idea of the bigger picture. What the bigger picture is. And you're looking directly at yourself. Or you're looking directly at the situation. But there is like one little thing that you're still not paying attention to. And it's some of that snooze. The snooze you lose. All right. So there's a timely event. There's some sort of something about timing here. Would you like me to find out what that is? Something about timing here. Okay, so I see the card there. Remember the chunk that's set aside sitting under. Something about timing and the door to value. Giving time for appreciation. That's some of what was going on here. So what kind of appreciation? Appreciation of the perfect 10, the thinking man, the developing of the Trinity, the triune one, the wholeness, not just the divinity, the triunity, the alignment, the knitting together, the because there are daisies all over here. Let's talk about the daisy chain. So, okay, so if anybody's an embroiderer, you can do a straight stitch. Do. That's going to kind of go along at a good measure. Remember when they were talking about slow it down? There's something more beautiful and intricate going on here, but it's not ultra elaborate. It's a daisy chain. So it's a special looping back, and it creates a more open feel, a more open flare. It's about being open. It's about being open. Open to celebrating the moments of your life. And this is like that labyrinth that provides an opening in your belly. And in this case, the green in the belly has to do with the heart, has to do with the earth and heart. So making room in your heart. Remember, this was making that room. It's like a plow. A plow doesn't just do a straight little slice. You couldn't get a seed in there. It divines a wedge. It makes room for the seed to be received. And then you can close it back in with a hug, a snug. She just up in there like whatever. I don't even know. Okay, and that seems to begin to satisfy that lion, that primalness, that sense of pride in oneself. You're going to begin to feel good about who you are and the decisions that you make and the direction in which you're going. Okay, that's clear. Thank you. So over here where you were stuck in the jumping in and this divinity and touching the mountain and the lightning striking and waking it up, and it's like, that's kind of like Arthur and the sword. It's like the lightning strikes the rock. The moment you go for the sword and you say, I'll be the one. I'll be king. I'll be the one. And then the lightning strikes it, the stone splits, and you pull the sword out all at once. You don't know, like, was it the chicken or the egg? You're like, I have no idea. Was that my power or was it power supporting me? And you're like, either way, it got the job done. And that's the jumping in, because they're showing now this is a reiteration of this wedge, of this plowing it up, of this preparing the land for, yeah, that's making me itch, for this high heart imagination, for the childlike wonder and faith, for the playfulness, the renewal, the refreshment, the awakening of joy. Okay, peace also. So this is looking like that over here. I was in the midst of talking. I just shove them over there, and this is what we have going on. Let's talk about light coming forth from the darkness. Light coming forth from the darkness and looking to well, dare I say it, face the demons of your mother. It's the Seven of Cups, but what is being highlighted here, the demons of your mother. Okay, because this is a Bessie Beetle. So Bessie Beetles, they click and they're good mothers. That's how I know. Cute little things. I kiss that little bugger. They're so cute. And something to do with the essence of the home. Like you look into their eyes, you turn to stone and you get frozen, you get stuck. That's more than just like a thorn being stuck. But of course, those stone statues that she looked at, they were stuck in the garden. And over here, about that wanderer, the fool, and the trusting and the opening and the mountain. It's all about the garden and the delights. And this is a light, a delight, a multifaceted one. And that's about the sacral chakra and the pleasure, the golden crown, the opening. And now she's coming over and is blocking this. So there is an energy. This is an energy traveling back and forth. It's almost like a dragon defending the gate, the opening to the mouth, the treasury of the cave, because the cave is where you go in the mountain to get your ruby that Michael's been in there working on. Now magic is lighting up. She's now lighting up with her knowing look, and she's smiling, almost smirking, but a smirk could be cruel. She's like, okay, come on in, bring in the divine union, bring in the divine fiber, the fiber optics of who we are, which makes sense because we're talking about eyes. You get divine fiber optics, Gemini. All right, maybe I'll get some divine lips to help speak out clearly. Who knows? So she's sitting over here. I'm just going to leave it there for a minute to see what is being cooked up, because in the midst, there's also the option of having a crown of victory. It's kind of here, but you think it's a little bit beyond your reach, and your head is looking that way, but you still keep being drawn back to that synergy, to that energy. and the blossoming abundance is being missed because you keep thinking you're going to pick the wrong one. You keep thinking you're going to pick the wrong one, get trapped in the dungeon, but it's really a fortress. It's really a great castle here, but the mind goes to the dungeon. The mind goes to the dungeon. The mind goes to the dungeon. So here, this beautiful ending is now sitting with the 10 of coins. Okay? So maybe some of that furrowing, that planning is so that distracting, moving it over here, which is over your door to value and your tri-union. But here, it gives you a moment to have this heaven on earth, to have this nourishing and nurturing energy, this abundant energy. Because as you can see here, this 10 of pentacles, but it's wanting to call itself a 10 of cups, because it's a very much plasma cup. It's very much the 1221 coming in, the divine and the divine being divined. Well, that would be the triune. So that's going to happen anyway. Okay, there you go, Gemini. There's your secret. But what is being held here is beholding. This is what's inside the fortress. This is what's in the kingdom. It's like being able to breathe air underwater. Like emotions don't choke you out or kill you or scare you or mess you up or whatever. They just mesmerize you. They mesmerize you. It's kind of like you're seeing like an underwater version. Like if you're underwater looking up at the, what's that called? The Aurora Borealis, and the colors are changing and moving around you. And it's like, it's awakening very much that pink chakra. It's awakening that energy, because you're telling me that energy is supposed to emanate and meld and conjoin all the way up in through the crown chakra and out into the universe. And she is lighting up now. That is opening that crystal chamber. That is how you can be open and closed at the same time, in and out at the same time. They're one and the same is what you're saying. But there's something that's seeking your attention here, okay? Something that's seeking your attention here, something about the chin as well, having to do with heaven. So I don't know what's happened with your chin. But chin can have to do with preposterousness. It can do with pride. It can do with a bit of haughtiness, like, that'll never happen, or I know that'll happen. It's like it's having to do with a bit of that going on in here. But they're telling you to dive on in and enjoy, because I'm seeing a fork and knife coming on in. Some fucking knives coming on in. You're ready to dive on in, eat your steak, feeling great. Eat your tofu brick. I don't know what you're eating. That's up to you. But you're opening up and that wedge is being made. That wedge is being made all the way down. And I'm not telling you what your ruby is about. That is up for you. I'm talking about the energy, okay? Where your divine earth star comes together and you have the power of your permission, the power of your resources of connecting to your earth in all the riches of who you are and in the facets of your chart, the eye of God, and what it affords you. It came to afford you and give you the advantage of walking out your road and your pathway here in life so that you enjoy and you are divine, and it stirs up beauty and deliciousness. And that is what people feast on, is the tree of life. They don't need to keep catching their branches, Pray for my new lips, y'all. I don't know. Bring it on in, baby. I don't know. But that's what is coming in under here. It's that new vibration. It's like a new soul song. It's a whole new era. So that's talking about the era of plasma. It's a whole new era. It comes in with the soul songs. Like groove is in the heart. Groove is in the record. Remember, I was talking about being like a 10 of cups, even though it's pentacles, because it's plasma. You're the container, the vessel for that. And kind of almost holographic. Remember, we were talking about the iridescence over here. Holographic, too, is something that plays with the delight in your eyes. It becomes fascinating. Well, if you didn't just wrap me up all in that, Gemini, I don't know. Leave your comments down below. So I do comments, compliments, emojis, whatever it is, all welcome here. We're glad to have you here. Happy to have you join us. Remember to give it a like. Also subscribe if you have not already. Free as always. And check back in for the whole Zodiac. Got some Freaky Friday coming up. Maybe dip back and pick up the Monday as they are timeless reads. I love you. We'll talk soon. Bye.